Hi guys. I'm sorry. I was laying down a second ago because I was watching Elementary. I'll go back to color. Because the new episode just went off, and oh crap. Now I have to figure out how. I can't remember what the title was. I think it was like Dead's. Hold on. Wait a minute. I made my little graphic already for it, so I'll have to look. Let's see. See what it is. Try not to waste a whole minute finding it. Jesus, where are you at? I bet it's all the way at the bottom somewhere. Here it is. Dead Man Switch. That's what it's called. This is the episode before the finale, by the way, you guys. So, and my mind's blown because I knew when they said when next up was gonna be a finale, I was like, it's gonna be Moriarty to watch. It's going to be him, and it was, which I'm excited about. Oh my god, I'm just gonna be crazy. And I have fun Irene Allen involved, but I'm not gonna say anything about that yet because she wasn't in this episode. So okay, this episode was about, and I freaked out. Okay, so the beginning of the episode, you're talking, not talking when you open it up, Sherlock's giving himself a tattoo, which is really weird. I don't like this glare. Hold on. There you go, the black and white. He's giving himself a tattoo, like actually giving himself a tattoo, whatever, on his arm. And I'm like, what are you doing, you idiot? What are you doing? Well, he's not an idiot, you know what I mean? What are you doing? He's like actually giving himself a tattoo. He's like just sitting in their apartment and giving himself a tattoo. And then, I think it's, Gregson. He calls him and tells him about a murder or something. Either calls him or he goes flat. I can't remember right now because that episode was crazy, like non-stop craziness. And so Holmes goes to, I think he does call him. He calls him and he tells him he needs him to go somewhere to crap, was it Gregson? God, I can't think right now. Seriously, that episode was bananas. And I might not even explain a lot of it because it's so confusing at parts. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you one word, and that should give you enough, especially if you're a Laurel original stories reader. You understand. Milverton. Guys. It's insane. So Augustus Milverton was involved, and if you read the case of Augustus Milverton, then you know what all that's about right there. And I was surprised because I didn't look. Sometimes I usually look and read like little summaries or something of the cases just in case, so I know what's going on. I did not know. I was like, what? Because they said his name, Charles Milverton, and I was like, what is going on right now? And so, and then the next moment, what happens is Sherlock, he goes to the address of Charles Milverton because he's a black. You know, if you read the canon, you know he's he was one of Sherlock Holmes' rivals, like biggest rivals, and he was a huge deal blackmailer. And he, and Holmes does not like that at all. He hates blackmailing. And I was like, yes. I was like, yes, I'm so excited. Because he has this intense look on his face. Like, when he found out what he did, he was like, in BBC Sherlock, when Hudson she's up there with the Americans who are, like, basically abused her or whatever, and that scary look Sherlock gets on his face, it was like that. And I was like, oh my gosh, what's happening? Because it was scary. Like, even his tone of voice when he was talking, it was scary. I was like, oh, what's happening? What's gonna happen now? Oh crap. And so he, like, but this is the part that's complicated for me to explain, like, what goes on, because they deal with like 4 different people. So there's Milverton, but he ends up getting killed, like, in the very beginning of the episode. I think it's after the credits, the opening credits. So, or was it before? I can't remember. It either or. He ends up dying. So Sherlock goes to his house to like confront him, right? Because he has been blackmailing this man whose stepdaughter or daughter, he had some tapes of her getting raped or whatever, and he makes him give a so and so amount of money so it won't go all over the internet, and so he pays it without telling his wife or anything. And then so Holmes, and this guy is a friend of Alfredo, who you know from he's Holmes's sponsor. And so then, oh crap, what is that noise? And then Holmes is so yeah, that's why he meets him, because Alfredo knows him. That's the reason why. Not Gregson. Gregson isn't involved yet. I'm tripping. Then after that, Holmes takes the case because he hates blackmailers, and that's when that look on his face came. And I was scared. I was scared. I was just like that look, you know, shit's about to go down, basically. And then okay, so I'm gonna try my best to sum this case up in like a couple sentences, because it's gonna be very hard to explain it unless you've watched it already. Then you understand what the hell I'm talking about. If you haven't, I'm just gonna have first you need to read the story, the original story, and I'll even find a link for you somewhere, and I'll put it up. I'll put it in the little doobly-doo down there, so you should read that, because the original stories are amazing. Like, if you haven't read them, I'm probably gonna need to help you, guide you on that amazingness, because I'm in the middle of reading Sign of 4 again. Now actually I'm almost done with it. I only have like a couple more chapters left, and then I'll be reading the rest again. I haven't read them in a long time, but it's like, oh, it's amazing. Like when you read something when you were younger, it's like nothing you've ever dealt with before. Then when you read it again and you're able to connect things, you're like, oh, it's so crazy. Well, at least that's how I feel about it. But so also in the real story, so I'm talking about it right now. Milverton, besides the fact that his case is like one of the biggest ones, like really important ones, because Sherlock took this case like really seriously in the canon. Like went so far to he got engaged to I think it was a housemaid, just so he could get in and make sure this guy paid for what he did, because you know he doesn't play with blackmailers or anything like that. And that's the same way in the series. What's going on? Let's see, case wise. So Milverton, Sherlock goes to visit him, and he ends up getting shot. Like he basically dead. And then there's a accomplice who they find out his alias is Henry VIII, like Henry the Eighth. Then they think that he's the one who killed him. And when they find out who he is, they don't find out who he is till the end of the episode. But when they find out who he is and track him down, he's dead. So that's crazy. But before that, they think it's this other guy who they find dumping Milverton's body, which is dead, basically, you know. And it turns out he's not the guy. He's just someone who happened to be a part of it in a way, like a little way. But it's really complicated to explain, because there was just so much going on. Every time we turned around, even if you weren't paying attention, I was sometimes, and I was on Twitter at the same time talking to people about it. So I was like, what's happening? Because it's not confusing. If you watch it, you'll probably be like, what is going on? Because every time you turn around, there's something else twist that's going on, and it's like, what is happening? And at the same time, you have Sherlock, the personal side of the story, which okay, wait, let me finish the case before I get the personal, because then it's gonna confuse me. They find out, so the guy who they were looking for, since Milverton was dead, and this other guy, so there was 3 different people in the set. There's Milverton, there's Bloom. Milverton killed Bloom, which was the guy who was there's a guy in the bathtub at the end of the episode, which is a very big guy, and he's dead, and he's bloated in the tub, and it's just very disgusting. And so Um, God, what was I saying? Yeah. Besides that, so there's Milverton and then there's Bloom. Those two, they're dead. They're gone. And then there was another one who was the accomplice of Bloom. So Bloom was Milverton to Milverton's. I can't. No, tripping. Milverton and Bloom are like a tight knit group. And this other guy, I cannot remember his name, but they're the one who they caught basically, and he ended up lying to the police and saying, well, not lying. I don't mean to do the air quotes. He told the police that his daughter was a victim. Basically, she got raped, and then Milverton was blackmailing him, right? Which was true, but he didn't tell the police that A, that was his stepdaughter, and B, that they fought a lot. So, yeah. I'm guessing that was supposed to mean something. I don't know. They said that in the end of the episode when Gregson and Sherlock were interrogating him to get him to tell the truth. And there was the guy had a lawyer with him saying that they couldn't arrest him without proof for what he was doing, because he was also in the group with Milverton and Bloom. He ended up being he was the one who killed, wait, got it mixed up. Yes, no, Milverton killed Bloom, but then, no, or was it Bloom? God, this is the hard part. Okay, this is gonna confuse me. So basically, all of them someone killed each other. It's very hard to explain because it was just too much. Like, every time you turn, you basically need a Sherlock wall. A Sherlock wall is one of his diagram thing, with lines and stuff. You really need one of those for this episode because it's very complicated and weird. Not weird, but like, it's a really good episode. It's just, if you're not paying attention, which I was paying attention, then I wasn't. Then I was paying attention, then I wasn't. Then I paid attention to the key parts. And so basically, they get the case solved. But the other part of this is, and they arrested the guy who was trying to lie again. And it's always for money. I don't understand why people are greedy, because it was for money the whole time. Like, the guy he killed, he was working with his brother basically, and he killed Milverton and then Bloom basically. And so this is what happens here. And I told you, I may have gotten some details wrong, and I'm very sorry. But I just got through watching the episode, and my mind is still all over the place. And so, in the personal side of this episode is, so it's supposed to be Sherlock's 1 year of sobriety, since he got clean. But Sherlock is in a tizzy about it because he doesn't want to go to the meeting and get his chip because he doesn't feel like he deserves it. Which I'm like, Holmes, come on, man, you did it. You did your 1 year. Turns out he hadn't done his 1 year because he relapsed before Watson came around. And so he ends up admitting this to her because Alfredo, who's his sponsor, is the one who wants him to go to the meeting, but he says he wasn't going to go to the meeting. And then Alfredo confronts him, and it's like, it isn't all about you, basically. And I was like, damn. Because Sherlock just kind of, because they're at the apartment, and Sherlock's like, damn, he's right, ain't he? And then, but he's right in a way, but he isn't, because he doesn't know that Sherlock relapsed before he met Alfredo or before he met Watson. So that was like, jeez, that's hard. Like, in the end of the episode, Watson's like, because he relapsed a day before he went into rehab, and he got really sick because of that, because you have to do detox and all that. And so Sherlock, when he told her that, she was like, it doesn't change anything. You still had progress the rest of the 364 days after that. And he doesn't go to the meeting. Well, he goes to the meeting, he thought about it, and then he told him he couldn't do it. And I can't remember if he told him why he couldn't do it, but he couldn't. And so he left. And then that's when Watson, is like the end of the episode, they were, he was tattooing on his arm again, like, doing it again. I don't even know what he was doing there. I'm actually curious if that's actually Johnny doing that, because it looks like it, but like, that kind of be painful right there. So Sherlock, he's doing that, and then Watson's like, "Hey, it's your 1 year. It's actually your 1 year because it's like the day after it's midnight, a little bit after midnight. Like it was like 12:07 on the clock." And he's like, "Yeah, but I don't want to celebrate it still," because he feels like he's a failure because of that one slip he had before he went into rehab, and then he got sick from the detox and everything. And so I actually kind of feel a lot of this is because of Irene too, because you know the reason why he went down his downward spiral is because of Irene and her death and all of that. And so what happens is, so Watson brings him a present. She's like, "I know you say you don't want to celebrate it, but I saw this at a thrift store and thought of you." So I'm about to read something. So on it, because for some reason I always think I miss it because I don't know. It's weird. I was like, she brought him a jumper. Did she brought him a jumper? She totally didn't buy him a jumper, but it was like in a big box. It's like big rectangular box with a bow and everything. So he has these black gloves on, and he like carefully opens it up, and there's a frame in there, and I was like, "It's a picture. I wonder who it could be." But it wasn't a picture. It was a poem. It's a part of a poem. But I'm gonna read the whole poem real quick, and that'll be the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoy it. Okay. It's a Robert Frost poem. It's called "Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening." Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near. Between the woods and frozen light, the darkest evening of the year. He gives his heart and spells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sounds the sweet of easy wind and downy flake. And this last section is the part that was on there, on the little thing, and it was like written in really pretty font. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. I thought that was very fitting. I was like, because she was like, I saw this and I thought of you, and I was like, "Oh, Watson." So that's the end of this episode, and I hope you enjoyed, and I'm sorry I got really rambly and crazy, but like seriously, you guys, you have to watch the episode. It was amazing. Like, it was one of the best episodes of the season, and this is just the first season. That's crazy. I can't wait for next week when we have the last episode, the finale. It's gonna be crazy. I'm excited, and I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.